honestly, he should be scanning all over the place right now. Probably at the 11:30 to start off with, possibly the upper right hand, because the lower left hand really is a little bit more risky for Zerg to expand. But if he spots that out, he might go and really threaten that position heavily. There is going to be a Queen's Nest, very quick Queen's Nest coming in from ZerO, so he's going to take up very, very quickly. I'm wondering whether this is big air, and if he's going for it, I'm actually finding myself fearing for him a little bit, because lately on this map pool, big air has been a big weakness for Zerg. Players that go for big air tend to not really work too well. Terrans, I'm not really blaming fully the map, because honestly, of course, a large in part it has been because Terrans have scouted the big air coming, have had time enough to get themselves ready for it, and have played beautifully against it. But I honestly don't know whether I like big air Zergs going for big air on this map. There are a lot of map formations that could allow it to be fairly successful, but with the proper support, it really isn't. Hive Tech already on the way, still more mules popping. So we're going to see what it is exactly. The ZerO goes for Flash. Meanwhile, going to move out with some Medic Marines. Does feel strong enough in his defensive position at the moment that he's picking off Mutalisks really at the premium right now. Doesn't have that many forces on the ground, but still doing a good job of picking off Mutalisks and holding himself off. He has a lot of turrets all over the place. Going for Factory A, so he's going to continue taking up as he gets his Raxes up and a second refinery alongside. But right now he's just playing still a little bit defensively, moving out with those Medic Marines just to try to threaten ZerO. And I'm wondering whether he's scanning there on the ridge a little bit just to make sure there are no funky lurker play possibly coming in, picking off yet another Mutalisk. But I'm wondering whether he actually has scanned towards the lower left-hand position, because that seems where he is. That seems to me where he is going, and that position is still fairly remote. But one Mutalisk is coming to reinforce, almost getting picked off completely. But there are no sunken columns or anything. Just a gas can be mining at this lower left-hand base, and I think Flash, this is where he's going for. I'm not quite sure though, but if that is where he's going for, that's going to be pretty bad for Mutalisk coming in, picking off some Marines coming in to reinforce Flash. A little bit sloppy there. They do have Carapace 1, so I'm not going to take as much damage. Marines also have weapons 1, so it kind of equals each other out. I really like ZerO going for the Carapace 1, because if he wasn't, those Medic Marines would start ripping into those Mutalisks very quickly. There is going to be big air, a Greater Spire on the way. And I am a little bit fearing for him. If he manages to switch up, if he manages to catch Flash off guard with this, surprise him, then Flash will have a little bit of trouble recognizing this out of his hand. Recognizes this, but if he recognizes this, if he knows this is coming already by scanning the main, he's going to have enough time to repair. He should have a starport picking off a lot of those Mutalisks, which need to become Guardians for ZerO soon. He's coming the main, risking them quite a bit. Flash, meanwhile, doesn't have that many forces on the ground, but still picking off a lot of Mutalisks here and there. Yet another one dying. Has reinforcements coming in all sides, and ZerO doesn't really have that many Mutalisks anymore. Really needs to keep them alive, moving with a couple of Zergings. They're not really going to help him much. Flash losing some Marines alongside, but really not ready to for a 3 starport, so he definitely has this spotted out. He's going to do what Bogus did against Quanro. He's going to go for 3 port Wraith alongside, not going to bother with any control towers or anything, just 3 port Wraith to completely annihilate the Guardians, and I think this is already a bad idea here for ZerO. Terrans, of course, have the advantage of having a scanner, so every couple of minutes, whenever they feel that the timing is right, they can always scan the main, spot what kind of tech's coming up against them, and counter that. He could, of course, have gone heavy science vessels, but it would take that a little bit longer time to get ready to prepare all those irradiates that he would need. But he's going to have a lot of Wraiths. They're going to be able to come in, do a lot of damage. Guardians, of course, are completely useless against any sort of air forces. They do not attack aerial forces. And Flash already moving out up the map. I'm not quite sure. I'm not even sure whether he spotted the lower left, but I definitely think he thinks ZerO has a third base somewhere. I think he's moving towards the location. Maybe he hasn't scanned that or not, but he's definitely moving all of his forces in a rather large clump. And just also yet again engaging the Mutalisk, picking yet another one off. Every single Mutalisk that dies now, every single Mutalisk for ZerO is precious now. He's waiting to have some time to get some of those cocoons in play, to get those Guardians in play, to possibly hold Flash off. But Flash has been just not had any sort of economic damage done to him at this point. Some Guardians there, a little bit out in the open, so Flash might want to be a little bit careful of that. But now that Flash knows those are out there, he just needs to engage the Mutalisk from the ground, as he's doing right here, moving with the Wraiths against the Guardians. I'm wondering whether that's what he's doing, luring. That's I think exactly that's what he's doing. He's luring the Guardians very close to his Medic Marines. The Wraiths are going to be able to come in from behind. There are those 4 Guardians. He's really lost most of his ground forces at the moment, and those Mutalisks are all in the air. He's meanwhile waiting for his Wraiths, also buying himself some time, and those Guardians are very much out in the open now. His medics are all going to die, but he has already another group quite ready enough to engage. to engage those Mutalisks on the ground. Has Wraiths to report in now. Weapons 1 and armor on ready for those ground units. Even more Guardians on the way. But a lot of them are out in the open. Wraiths are going to come in and finish these Guardians off in seconds. We're going to see whether ZerO cancel this or not. Flash coming in, barring a play. Just wow, absolutely beautiful. A lot of ZerO doing a beautiful job of micro against those Wraiths, picking a couple of them off, but still far too large a number of them to really do anything against us. The only thing the Wraiths have to do is pick off the Guardians. They can die to the Mutalisks, doesn't really matter because the Mutalisks are going to be killed by the Medic Marines, but the Wraiths doing a beautiful job of engaging those Guardians, making sure the Guardians don't kill all those ground forces too much. Flash moving in even more reinforced. Only has one single Wraith left in the air, but that's going to be enough. The Guardians are almost all dead. Once a Guardian left that's out in the open, it's going to get picked off. One more shot, only a couple more shots, and he's getting picked off. But even if he manages to do some damage, more Wraiths coming in, picking off the last of them. Now the Wraiths are going to be able, alongside his Medic Marines, are going to be able to engage all of those Mutalisks, and no Guardians are going to be forthcoming from ZerO, and there's going to be GG. ZerO, despite beautiful play all over, Flash wins and moves on to the round of 8, facing arguably his strongest opponent in this MSL so far. Definitely the one that's given him the most challenge. So definitely, if Flash goes on to win this MSL, ZerO can at least say to himself, hey, I gave him a good fight. I gave a good fight to the champion. But Flash looking unstoppable despite that little hiccup in the second set. He learned from the experience and countered beautifully. So, damn, I'm looking forward to see what happens in round of 8. So, GG guys, wrenching out. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. See you later.